costs will be eliminated, and it winds up being a lot cheaper, quite a bit cheaper for us to do both projects at the same time. So at this point, I will turn it over to our engineer, Joe Dubel, and have him give you the details on the project. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Joe, if you could technically open the public hearing first and start that process.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay, I will open the public hearing at this time. Public hearing is open. Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to go through a short little summary of the steps, improvements, project costs, assessment approach, the schedule, and afterwards we'll have questions and comments from the council and the public. Just as a history, summary of the steps for the assessment, Minnesota Statute 429, first with initiation of a proceedings. This is initiated by the council as a petition of the affected property owners. That was done in January the 7th. Then we ordered a preparation of a feasibility report. That was on March 4th, and it was accepted. Notice of a public hearing for the proposed improvements was given on the 4th of March also, and then they had the preliminary assessment hearing on March 26th. On April 1st, they ordered the improvements and preparation of the plans. The improvements were bid on June 3rd, the council accepted plans and calls for construction bids on June 3rd. And then now we're at the final assessment hearing of the improvement. The project, all the project costs are known. Proposed assessment roll is prepared, listing the amount assessed against each property that will benefit from the improvement. Following proper newspaper and individual notice, a hearing is held to allow people to express their concerns on the assessments. This is where we are now, and then following the hearing, if the council chooses, they can approve and certify the assessment roll, and the improvements will be constructed. The proposed improvements as bid basically is removing trees, clearing grub, stumps, stockpile topsoil necessary for construction, and then the meat of it is to install sanitary mains, manholes, service lines, stubs for each property owner, and along Papago Circle, Suffolk Drive, and phase 2 and 3 of the White Birch Village townhomes. Then construction of the roadways in accordance with the Breezy Point recommended minimum sections. It's a 20-foot paved surface, 2 by 10-foot drive lanes, 3-foot class 1 aggregate shoulders, 4-inch thick class 5 aggregate base, 2-inch thick bituminous pavement. Pavement, we are going to extend to the driveways that are already paved, and then construct the cul-de-sac areas with pavement also. And then at the end, we'll install topsoil, seed, and mulch for turf establishment. The estimated project costs include construction, engineering, and administrative costs. A feasibility study was presented in March of this year to the council with an estimated project cost of $1.309 million, with an initial unit assessment of approximately $14,000 at that time. From then they ordered a preliminary assessment where the total estimated assessable cost at that point was $965,555.58. Now we're at today where we had bid the job. It came in at it came in higher than this, but the total final assessable project cost that'll be split up with the residents is the $862,068.27. Now the cost of the estimate from the feasibility study and the preliminary hearing was made prior to final design and bidding of the project. So as you go through these, we try to start out on the feasibility study at a little bit higher level of the costs and bring them down to try to refine them as we get to where we finally bid with final plans and specs. The assessment approach on this, the costs for the project are divided between benefiting property owners and the city using policies established in the city of Breezy. A point road improvement policy, dated July 2004, including amendments made to the policy since that time. Per this policy, 100% of the roadway and sanitary sewer improvement project costs for this project are assessed to the budding benefited property owners on a per building site basis. In addition, project costs for easements and a sanitary sewer trunk interceptor line from the Papago Circle to Creek Circle and will be paid by the city and not assessed. So that's considered a trunk line, and we don't assess that. So the total project cost as bid was $1,026,651.35. Of that portion, the city will pay $164,583.08, and the ending assessable amount will be $862,068.27. As far as the assessment calculation, the assessed portion of cost of improvements, basically we take the assessable amount and divide it by the number of units. It happens to be 78.5. This is where the mayor alluded to the fact that when we do more work on a job, it usually brings down the cost, because you don't double up on things you do the next year if you did 2 projects in a row. And then the final assessment per unit is $10,981.76. Note that this assessment amount calculated above includes both sewer and roadway improvements, so that's for everything that's being done. Anticipated schedule for this, should the council vote to proceed, the following has been included in bidding documents and provided to the contractor. All improvements shall be substantially completed on or before November 15th of this year, with the exception of bituminous paving and final turf establishment. All bituminous paving and turf establishment shall be finalized, erosion control devices removed, and all improvements shall be completed and ready for final payment on or before June 12th, 2020. At this time, I'm going to open it up for to turn it back over to the mayor. I went through this because this is a legal public hearing, and they will accept written comments, verbal comments. The mayor, if chooses, will recognize each person at the time and needs to please say who you are, where you're from, and speak clearly. Probably better than I'm speaking now. I don't know. Then that person can give their comment or ask their question.
So, okay, thank you, Joe. I'll start out with questions and comments from the council. I'll start with you, Rebecca. Any questions? Anything to adjust to Joe?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Carrie? Anything?
The 10,981, were we paying half of that, or is that the total assessment to
That's the total assessment.
Each individual
Yes.
property?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Michael?
I have no questions.
Okay. So at this time, I will open it up to members of the public if they wish to come forward and ask questions to Joe or to the council. Anybody wishing to come forward? Anybody wishing to come forward?
I'm Dave Bremer.
Okay,
I'm at,
come up, yeah, come up to the mic. Come up to the microphone.
Oh, whoops, the mic.
Yep, state your name and address.
Be in video today?
Yes, sir.
It'll be on YouTube later.
I'm Dave Bremer, and I live at 30351 Suffolk Circle. So, question on the 10-9, so that doesn't include the actual hookup of to the sanitary sewer, or does it? Just
That will be the service that comes to the property line, and then it's up to each homeowner to hook up to that service. That's
okay. So is that, if we wanted to do that, I mean, do we work with our contractor of our choice, or the people that are doing this work, or are there synergies, available? I guess is what I'm asking.
Generally, it'd be a plumber that would do that hookup for you.
Okay.
For the
Yeah.
private part of the hookup from the public
Yeah, I
utility.
assume you have a septic system right
Yes.
now? Okay.
Yes.
So when it comes time to hook up, then you would have somebody come in to essentially disconnect you from the on-site septic and hook you up to the city sewer. And there's specific guidelines and stuff that we would work with. And at that time, would be assessed.
Okay.
It's 3,200, something like that?
32?
3,200? Yeah. for hooking up. That's a one-time charge.
Okay, is that, okay, so secondly, this 10-9 is really based on this 78.5 units, which, is it correct to assume that that includes the White Birch 2 and 3 phase? So what if, let's just say that in the next year or two, the economy isn't as great, and they don't get to phase 3, and then those units aren't coming to fruition, so you're not getting those tax dollars. Can we come back to us and say, hey, we have to reassess us for the difference, or?
They still will be assessed.
Okay, so White Birch is on the hook for,
They're on the hook for 36 units.
okay,
They're paying almost half of this bill.
okay, all right. That's all I've got, thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anybody else? I'll close the public hearing at this time and discussion. Oh,
Sorry, is that okay?
it's technically not, but go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
well,
Flexible.
so if we want to, any of us, I guess, want to pay this upfront, what's the process for that?
You can just pay it up front if you so
Just come in
desire.
here and write you a check or something like that, if that's what we want to do.
They would want to come into City Hall before November 15th and pay off the entire amount, and then you won't receive any assessments on your taxes. That way, we record it with the county on the 15th.
Right. So you can pay it up front, or you can have it assessed over 20 years.
Great, thanks.
Anybody else? Okay. Public hearing is closed. Now I will, comments, questions from the staff, from council. Michael? Okay.
I have no additional questions.
Gary, anything else? I have none. Rebecca?
No, I don't have any, those are really good questions.
Okay. The next step in this phase is we have resolution 19-15, which is a resolution adopting the assessment for the road and sanitary sewer improvements to White Birch Drive, Papaco Circle, Suffolk Circle, and Suffolk Drive. Bids have been received, and the total cost is $1,026,651.35, with the assessable cost at $862,068.27, which will be assessed to the abutting property owners. I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1915. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? Michael?
No additional discussion.
Okay, Gary? Rebecca? All those in favor of approving Resolution 1915, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 1915 is approved. No, this is Fogarty. Forward with the project. We'll get started on construction very shortly. So,
We just want you to acknowledge the one appeal that we do have, and we will work with them.
okay, we did have one person appeal, and that will be worked independently. We've had a couple emails in favor of the project, and I've had verbal comments to me in favor of the project. So we will be moving forward, and we will be started. So that is it for tonight. We are adjourned. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact staff or the city at any time. We're done.